Hey guys. Welcome back to the Celtic Files. Today I am bringing you a preview of the upcoming map changes in patch 9.2. We are beginning with Sand River, which was changed in just a few areas. The changes are so minor that I almost did not include them in this video. The first area that has seen a few tweaks is in the northeastern corner. Wargaming as we work the terrain slightly. Oh, and I will refrain from making any form of analysis concerning the effects of the changes on the gameplay. I leave that to people who understand a lot more about World of Tanks than I do. We can see here that the height of this mountain seems to have been increased. This is a common sniping spot, and from the looks of it, you may not be able to use that any longer. We can see that also from a different angle. New and old. This change does not transform this area of the map. I consider this a minor tweak. Another such minor tweak can be found on the other side of the map, where Wargaming as we worked some of the sand dunes. The change is quite small, and you need to look very closely to actually see it. So let's move in a bit closer. Wargaming has raised the elevation of this dune, providing better cover for teams advancing around this flank. But really, the changes to Sand River are not so significant. Other maps have undergone more severe changes. But let's first get some of the more minor changes out of the way. For instance, Hidden Village. As far as I can tell, Wargaming has made changes to two areas on this map. The first change is visually quite unimpressive, but it might have a big impact on the gameplay. Wargaming has cut a piece out of the mountain and added an alternate route. There are now opportunities for flanking, where before this was a choke point. The next change that I could see was more pronounced when I was running around in my tank. Here, now looking at the screenshot, it is hard to see the difference. I think they have raised the elevation of this little hill, providing more cover for attackers approaching from the city. Additional hard cover, such as rocks, have been added. But here we can see a real change. Wargaming's terraformers have created a new section, consisting of a hill and a path around it. This change should spice up the battles in the village quite a bit. Overall, I think the changes are designed to make this area a more viable option when playing the Hidden Village map. Still, I think the changes won't change the fundamentals on how the map is played. So far, we have only seen a few tweaks, but the big ones are still ahead, so stay tuned. Now moving on to Cliff. I want to point out a few changes that all seem minor, but I think they will have a big impact on the gameplay. But only time will tell. We start off in the valley on the western flank. Gameplay often was a big static here, but Wargaming has taken steps to change that. As you can see, you can now cross between the upper and the lower level. Let me show you from a different angle. I think this is a welcome change, and it will help to shape things up. Moving on to the northeastern side of the map. Wargaming has added cover, in form of buildings, that will shield attackers from long-range shots of camping TVs. That may not look like much of a change, but I think when you are attacking around the east, you will welcome this additional protection. We can see that the changes are limited to the buildings mostly. For instance, the position of this rock has not changed at all. However, what has changed is the path around the east of the mountain. Wargaming has added a second level, which provides an alternate attack route. This is another choke point that gets, shall we say, unchoked. Tanks with weaker hull, but stronger turret armor, should be quite happy about this change. The terrain has been clearly expanded, and made more usable, compared to before. I think overall those are nice changes to the Cliff map. But now we are going to look at the map Sacred Valley, which will be reintroduced in patch 9.2. And this map has seen a major overhaul in the entire northern and central sections. Sacred Valley had been removed in patch 8.11, apparently for performance and balancing issues. We can see that Wargaming as we work the textures, giving a more winter feel. But more importantly, Wargaming has decided to throw away the old northern pass and recreate it from scratch. Before this was the highest point on the map, but now this isn't elevated at all anymore. I am not sure if the screenshots show this very well, but when you take your tent there, you won't recognize this part of the map at all anymore. Now you can see it very well, I think. This is another choke point removed. I think we are beginning to see a pattern here. It seems as if Wargaming wants to remove choke points. Choke points often slow down the progression of a fight, as two sides square off in one area and slowly chip away on each other's health pools. By removing these choke points, the gameplay should be much more dynamic. Especially medium tank drivers should rejoice, as they will have much more opportunities for flanking. Taking a look at the center of the map, we can see that the center hill has been comprehensively reworked as well. I am going to show you the hill more closely in a moment, but first let's see what has happened to the former TD camping spot. That's gone, and also there is no hill blocking any possible long-range shots that you may have within your TD. Now let's take a quick fly around the new center hill. While it does not have an effect on the gameplay, I must say I like it. Looks very nice indeed. Moving on to the southern part of the map. This section of the map has mostly retained its former layout. The changes are small indeed. But this next shot allows me to highlight the big elevation change on the northern flank. I have colored this section green, so you can better see it. Finally, a quick look at the southern base. It is much more open now. Many of the buildings have been removed, hills are flattened, and vegetation has been reduced. So that was Sacred Valley. But now comes the big one. A map that has been unpopular with many players for a long time. A map called El Haluf. So the first change you will notice is on the eastern side of the map. Wargaming has created an alternate way to get into this ditch for the team starting north. We are not trying to find out if the team starting south can climb up this new passage. And as you can see, that's a no-go. The other team, however, can take full advantage of this new route. Though you want to be careful going downhill at full speed, or you will end up like this. Right. We are making our way towards the northern base, and head west. So far, this all seems very familiar. Oh wait, this looks different. But I think we will need to move in closer to get a better look. Oh wow. Look at that. The cap has completely changed, and that's not all. From the looks of it, Wargaming has finally removed the infamous heavy tank corner. This is another choke point that has been confined to history. Just look at this. That part of the map was completely changed. I don't even recognize the old map anymore. And just to show you how dramatic this change is, just watch how this looks when you are driving around this area in your tank. Let me activate the mini-map so you actually have an idea where we are. So really then Wargaming has not only updated this area of the map, no, they have torn the old map down completely and created something completely new. The only areas that they have left alone are the northern and southern bases, as well as the eastern part of the map, for the most part anyways. Looking at the cap of the encounter game mode, we can see that both sides enjoy cover while camping. Putting up early pressure on the cap seems like a pretty good option now. To summarize, the El Halufia once move no longer exists. Tactics that were once viable on the western flank have gone out the window. This change is so drastic that removing the hill from Himmelsdorf would not seem more extreme. Now let me get back to the scene with the planes in front of the opening titles. This was captured on the new map called Fire Arc. It's essentially a reskin of Prokhorovka. While there are some minor changes of the terrain, for the most part, this new map is all about immersion. Fire Arc looks like Prokhorovka after a huge battle has taken place. It's absolutely stunning, but since we are running already 10 minutes, I am only showing you a few bits and pieces. I hope you found this video to be useful, and I would really appreciate it if you rated the video down below. Thank you. Have a good one.